department will go and find out what's the need out there. So what is the need, what people are expecting. So you find like the marketing department developing requirements. You can do it even by providing prototypes to user for comments. So you develop something, some idea, and then you distribute to users, and then you develop more, concrete requirements. This is one of the ideas. And basically it takes the form of a feature set. The system should do this, the system must do this, the system should not do this, and so forth. The system should respond within certain amount of time, all of the requirement or all of the features. Another way to develop requirement is through basically reading articles and finding what problems engineers are facing, right? You define a problem. So a problem by itself is a requirement. So there are different ways. So the way you're doing it right now is you're coming up with the requirement yourself, which is the problem definition, which is the project proposal. Okay. So at this time you probably already defined your requirement. Okay. So there are two types of requirements. There are what we call functional requirements. As the name say, functional requirement would be related to what? To the functions of the system directly. Like the inputs, the outputs, number of pins, number of ports. Are we going to have LCD, LED? Keypad and stuff like that. So they are functional. So output function, what it will do, what it won't do, and non-functional requirements. There are non-functional requirements, something that is not directly related to the function of the system. And examples would be the cost, what we call non-recurring engineering cost, how much time or how much money is going to take to develop that project. However, the cost will have an important input on the development of the system. Can anybody think about why a cost will affect the development of the system?
We're in college.
It's too
Excuse me?
expensive to do, right?
We're in college. We're broke.
Yeah.
Well, beside
Well,
that,
No, it depends what you're trying to do. I mean, you're trying to make something that's like expensive, then it better do a lot of things. Like an iPhone, it does many things, so it's expensive. If it's something small, then you can only do 1, 2 things. It's not gonna be very expensive.
yeah, so the cost will basically drive how the system will look, or what are the features will be in the system, right? So if a customer is coming up and say, okay, my budget is $200 and I need all these features, so you're gonna end up saying, by the way, if your cost is your major requirement, then probably you need to delete this and this and that. Okay, so the cost will be. So it depends on what is the most important thing here. There's also time to prototype. You find lots of time. You find companies competing who will be first in the market, right? So if you want to beat everybody to develop a product that will be going to the market first, and whoever goes to the first of the market basically gets the major share, then that will drive the way you're gonna develop the project, right? So you put a timeline that is stringent, and therefore it's gonna affect the number of people who will work on it, the number of the feature set that you can develop within that amount of time. And basically time to market, which is the target that you will be selling it in the market. Another non-functional requirement is maintainability. How are you going to maintain? Are you going to, provide some update that the customer will install in the system, or are you going just to destroy the system when another version is in the market? So it depends on that as well. Now, given that you have requirements, the next step is the specification. Now, what's the difference between specification and requirements? Because a lot of people use specification and requirements in interchangeable way. So specification is basically it's an engineering view of the requirements. So it is a detailed explanation of what system should do from the engineering point of view. For instance, you can find as a requirement that the system should be fast, right? Well, fast, what does that mean fast? Is it 20 milliseconds or 1 millisecond or 100 microseconds? So you need to take that requirement and map it to a specific, what you call a specification, specific amount of time or delay. Basically, you take a requirement and make them more specific. In terms of user interface, how many, what are the components I'm gonna use, the number of pixels in an LCD, for instance, the power consumption, response time. So you are more specific now. And basically, the user and the customer will get variation of this document. And the feature list is often included as the first part of the specification. That means the feature list that you develop in the requirements you will start from that to develop the specification of the project. Now your next step after you develop a requirement that I'm going to review and then get your feedback is to develop specification of the project. So you have a clear idea on what you're gonna do. How many pins you're gonna use, how many components, what are the type of components, the list of components you're gonna use. What type of delay are you expecting, how many tasks you will be doing. Now, once you're done with specification, that means you fleshed out the system, you know it in, out, you need to go into the design of